Welcome back, Knights of Apollo. It's Apollo here, and today we are playing Napoleonic Total War 3, the mod for Napoleon Total War, and we are going to witness the historical battle of Quatre Bras. So it's the 16th of June, 1815. This is actually part of the Waterloo Campaign. So Napoleon has returned from the island of Elba to be crowned once again Emperor of France, and he's looking for peace. Now, obviously, the nearby nations do not want the master of Europe to return to Europe. So he's trying to find peace, but of course, they're not going to give him peace. So he's going to try to fight his way into a position of strength and then negotiate peace. Now, to do that, he's actually going to be very aggressive here. So he's going to try to divide the forces of the 7th Coalition by putting a wedge between the Prussians and the Anglo-Allied army. His plan is to defeat the Prussians and then push Duke of Wellington to the coast. So that's why the Battle of Quatre Bras is so vitally important to the French, because it's preventing the Anglo-Allied forces to be able to join up with the Prussian army. That way, Napoleon can concentrate one army at a time instead of taking on two concentrated forces. And that's kind of Napoleon's bread and butter, just very aggressive, very fast moving, and can take out armies one at a time. And that's how he had a lot of success in his military career. So leading the Anglo-Allied army, we have the Duke of Wellington. Now this is an army, it's really a mutt of a force. You've got troops from all over the place. You've got Dutch, you have some German soldiers from Hanover, from the Duchy of Brunswick, United Netherlands, Nassau, and of course we have British from the United Kingdom. Now at the beginning of the battle, they had about 8,000 infantry and 16 guns. But as the battle progressed and more troops got onto the battlefield, at the end of the battle, they had about 36,000 infantry and 70 guns. Now, on the French side, this was not an entire army. This was only the left wing of the Army of the North, led by General Ney, Marshal Ney. So he has a total of 18,000 infantry, 2,000 cavalry, and 32 artillery, 32 guns to hold back the Anglo-Allied army. So yeah, very interesting. At the end of the day, there was close to 10,000 dead or wounded. I think there was about 4,140 dead or wounded on the French side, and there's about 4,800 dead or wounded on the Anglo-Allied side. Now, technically, this was a tactical Anglo-Allied victory. They did conquer the field, but this was a French strategic victory because they prevented the Anglo-Allied forces to join up with the Prussians. And while this battle's going on, we also have the Battle of Ligny, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering that one, where Napoleon is defeating the Prussians, and that would be his last victory of his military career, because after that battle, we all know what happens next, the Battle of Waterloo, and that was just unfortunately a disaster for Napoleon, and that would be his last battle he would ever command or ever be a part of. So yeah, let's with that, all that info out of the way, let's just go ahead and dive in and check out some of these armies. Alright guys, so I wanted to open up the battlefield here with General Ney just standing so proudly on his horse, ready to fight Duke of Wellington. So yeah, this is really exciting. I mean, this is a historical battle which you can play. This is not just some made-up battle that the players are trying to recreate. This is a custom scenario, I guess you could say, which is part of the mod. So I just wanted to make that clear. There are very strict rules to historical battles. You can see, look at that. Look how cool that is. Like, all the detail, the roads, it's all right here. It's just awesome. Now, there's a couple different victory conditions. Now, I'm not sure if the players are playing exactly like correct to the rules, because sometimes the back forces back here can't march towards the battle like right away. They've got to wait until a certain amount, like maybe when there's 45 minutes left or 50 minutes left, then they can push up their forces. But I'm not really too sure if the players are taking this historical battle like strictly by the rules. So just keep that in mind. Maybe they're just having fun with it, which is fine. I'm just excited to see another glorious Napoleonic battle and also have the historical twist twist to it. So let's look at the positioning here in the army comps of these forces. We're going to start with the Anglo-Allied forces because it's pretty straightforward. We have the Dutch here, which is, I believe, led by the Prince of Orange. So yeah, the Dutch, glorious Dutch, which is some of my ancestry goes back to the Dutch, which is, I find that to be pretty cool. My last name is actually Dutch, but anyways, yeah, very cool forces, lots of infantry. It's kind of like the front line against the, oh my god, is this battle already, okay, let's actually do some slow motion here. I did not expect a nice aggressive charge here by some French cav. So yeah, that was the Dutch there. If we head back over here, we do have some British forces, which I believe this is actually British and Hanover, I believe. We also have, here's the Duchy of Brunswick. He's marching up some troops. You can see lots and lots of line infantry. Look at those flags too, just glorious. I love this time period, it's so good. And then here's Hanover. So they've got their forces as well, using the roads, just quickly trying to get in position as the French begin to make their assault. Now, speaking of French, who are already making a bold push here. Now, I don't really know where one army begins, and you know, I don't know exactly where the army forces are located, so I'm just going to show you as if they're one giant army. So we got some troops over here. I believe this is Ney's forces that he's leading. You can see he's got a lot of infantry marching over to the flank. We've got a lot of forces in the trees that we can't quite see yet. That's another reason why it's going to be kind of difficult to show you the army comps of the French. But yeah, we got a general over here. We got another general, I believe, located over here. And we also got some very good French infantry here that is marching towards the center. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. 32E, very nice. So we got some sweet forces. Just, it's a 4 versus 4 in case you're wondering. So yeah, 4 French forces and then 4 defending or the Anglo-Allied forces. So let's go back to normal speed because these battles do tend to be pretty long. I just didn't want to miss any of the action. I really wanted to try to show you this battlefield. And you can see, like, the battle is going to be fought at the crossroads of Quatre Bras. Which is this section right here. Now, the French are actually pushing over some cav. Now, you can see the grass is blue right here. I don't know if that's supposed to represent like a river that you can't cross, because if you zoom out, it really does look like a river. You see that? I don't know if the rules are like, okay, you can't cross that, or maybe it's like really shallow and you can only walk across. But yeah, the French going for an aggressive charge, but the Dutch are going to take the initiative here and start the cav charge. So he's sending in some light dragoons, I believe. Oh no, but the French hold them back because the French cav, I guess, is superior. The British are also sending in some light dragoons to take on the French cav. And look at that, the French cav, man, just defeating the British and Dutch forces even after taking a couple volleys from this line infantry from the Dutch. So nice play there. Now, unfortunately, some of his cav is breaking. We have the chasseur, a cheval. I'm sorry, I'm still working on my French. That is breaking. But they should return to the battlefield. Hopefully, they don't break too closely to the Dutch. And now we've got our first corps here of the French about to approach the Dutch. The Dutch have a very solid defensive position around this tree line. They're also using the kind of the ridge here of the road. So it's kind of like the sunken road. Some Civil War, terminology there. Now we've got the Duchy of Brunswick. They're pushing forward some lancers. It looks like some Ouan. I believe is how you pronounce it. They're going to push forward and maybe try to go for that French artillery, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, so he's going to fall back. Just, man, this mod is so much better with the historical setting. Like, it's so immersive. It's so cool. Like, I'm really enjoying this so much. Like, oh, wait, hold that thought, guys. He is going to charge across here, but the French are going to do a counter charge and protect his artillery. The line infantry also forming up back there. He's gonna limber up his artillery. Thankfully, it's a horse artillery, and there goes the line infantry popping some shots and protecting this artillery. So that was a really good aggressive move there by the Duchy of Brunswick. But I don't think it's going to be effective. I don't think he's going to be able to catch the French by surprise. And he's going... Oh, here comes some dragoons coming in. So, yeah, he's going to be able to protect his front line there. Protect his artillery, which is going to be huge. Artillery is so vitally important, of course, in this time period. So, yeah, he's going to be able to defeat these troops. And now he's going to fall back his cav. We do have some shots fired here from the Dutch. as they kind of look over or look across the battlefield watching this cav engagement. The French are now able to kind of calm down a little bit. He protected his lines, and now he's going to begin the, I believe, the advance towards the Dutch front lines. The British are still making their way across the battlefield, and I think the Duchy of Brunswick still making his way as well, and Hanover still pushing very far back over there. So, yeah, the French, I think their advantage is early on, the early stages of the battle. Wait, what's going on here? Hanover sending over some hussars, I believe, to try to get behind and go after the artillery. Was he successful though? Is this the artillery? Yes, he was successful. I believe this unit will return though, but unfortunately he's being just harassed by a lot of artillery. But that should be the last of it for the French. Now they can focus the enemy here, and look at that. Look at this bold push here. The pushback, Duke of Wellington, so he does not join up with the Prussian army, which is fantastic. So he's got grenadiers, the glorious grenadiers. Look at them. Nice. And then we've got, I believe this is just some line infantry. Yep, some line infantry here. So they're getting into position as well. So good. I think that's the Dutch already opening fire. You can see they've got this really solid position. They also have the artillery, which is going to have, look at this. This is too good. Look at that. Just seeing the lines in the background, the artillery firing into these lines. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, yeah, opening fire on the general. Okay, wow. He's getting his general a little too close there. He is going to fall back, thankfully. The general does... Is he breaking, though? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a costly mistake. He probably misclicked there. The general getting to position. The French lines, I'm not liking this too much for the French. They're really just blobbed up here. It's not looking too good. They need to try to form up a little bit quicker here after losing their general. He might return, though. I don't know if that general is completely... Oh, no, he returned. Here he is. So he's not dead. But here comes a cav charge, and he's going to charge right into this thick line of French. That was a bold move by a general. Is that a general as well? Frederick? Oh, my God. They're just charging in their generals. This is insane. What are they thinking? But finally, the French line. Look how glorious this is. The French lines are finally in position. The Dutch are opening fire, using this slight terrain advantage against the French, hoping that their lack in skill will, the terrain will help out their lack in skill. Now, one thing about the French army is that it was a veteran army compared to this, like, it wasn't like the Anglo-Allied forces were bad by any means, but because they were a lot of different cultures, they don't have that unity, which is really important in battles. So, yeah, which, almost cost Duke of Wellington during the Battle of Waterloo. But, of course, the Prussians arrived and saved the day for the Duke of Wellington. But, yeah, the French are now still trying to protect themselves against incoming cav. Lots and lots of cav from the Anglo-Allied forces. We've got a lot of different troops here fighting in one spot. We've got some pretty nasty French cav who are doing a pretty good job of holding back the reinforcement cav forces. And look at that. They are breaking from the battlefield. He is fleeing. But then we have the Duchy of Brunswick pushing forward and more French forces pushing on this side. So let's get a little bird's eye view here. Look at this. Let's do some slow motion, really analyze the battlefield so far. So there's a lot of juicy fighting going on in the center lines. You can see the French. It's really sloppy over here for the French. I'm getting a little concerned because they're taking heavy casualties, but he is protecting his flank with the cav. His infantry is still pushing forward, but you can see, look at this. He's already got troops breaking in this front line, which is not good. Over on this side, we still do not see a lot of French movement. Now, I'm pretty sure they've got some forces back here in the tree line, so maybe, or maybe not. Maybe this is all he has here pushing forward. I don't know. We got to wait to see the French army. Now, of course, we've got this flanking French force, which could actually, if they move forward, they could get a pretty good, like, positioning around the British forces here and actually get these guys in an awkward position. So we'll see what happens here throughout this battle. Let's go back over to the juicy part, though, and just see how the French are going to try to overcome the challenges they have been facing so far in this battle. So let's go look at the Dutch point of view. These green uniforms, the Jaeger here. Very nice. And more Oh, he's going for a bayonet charge. I think he's going to try to take out the artillery, but we've got some Dutch doing a counter bayonet charge, and the French are able to crush the Dutch there. And now the Cav are coming in to support that front line and to try to protect his artillery. Let's see if this Cav charge is enough to break the French. It looks like it is going to be enough. Yep, sure enough. There we go. Nice little maneuver there with the Hussars closing in to protect his artillery and to prevent his lines from crumbling. And now he's going to continue to charge down the battlefield and to take on some more French lines. Beautiful move there, but it might cost him his Cav. Yeah, sure enough, the French lines are able to hold on there against that charge downhill. Beautiful stand there by the French. That was a really cool scene right there. The lighting in this battle is really fantastic as well. Oh, look at this. We got the 92nd Foot over here. Some Highlanders. Really cool. So let's zoom out here. Look how this is just becoming a nasty battlefield. And the Dutch are now, well, there's some dents in the lines, but I feel like the French have really taken most of the damage here. If we head back over to this side, oh yeah, here comes the Duchy of Brunswick. And now, now the French Cav charging in, taking out some Jaeger here who are out of position, getting surrounded by some infantry veterans. And they're going to be able to crush Brunswick's Jaegers. And there we go. Nice move. Nice aggressive move by the French. Trying to protect his lines and trying to protect the back lines of the French. And now he's moving over some columns and continuing to put suppressing fire. He doesn't really necessarily need to win over here. If he can just hold back these forces as the other French forces push, this is a little troublesome though. The Duchy of Brunswick kind of swinging around his forces. We do have some, oh, excuse me. Some spit went down the wrong pipe. He does have some French forces kind of waiting at the tree line who could easily push forward and protect the flank of his French, but I think the French are doing a little bit of a tactical retreat here. This is not looking good for the center for these guys. So let's zoom back in here, see what he does here. He's got some infantry, some veteran line infantry pushing forward. He still has some line infantry over this way, holding back. It looks like some Cav from Hanover. We got Frederick von Klingsmeg. Screw you, German. But no, yeah, we've got this general who's actually, we're seeing a lot of generals just charging into the fight, which is insane. But the French are falling back because they do not like the positioning here of this extra reinforcements from Brunswick. So yeah, they're falling back across the river. And I think they're going to reform with their allies. And they are just opening fire over here. This circle of death. Now the angle is not great. There is a slight slope in front of them. But now the British and Dutch can push forward and start to push here. Now here we go. Here comes more French. They're now beginning to push over on this side of the hill. This is really tricky. I mean, I don't really have a lot of experience when it comes to this game, really overall, but also like in strategy pushing hills. Like, I don't really know the best approach for taking on defensive positions. I think just through experience of Total War, I think what he needs to try to do is flank around with some Cav and try to, get him concerned about the, the rear of his army. Maybe get some hammer and anvil, surprise charges, and try to crumble the lines. Maybe do a bayonet charge. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities he could do here, but this is going to be tough to break through, especially with this artillery up here as well. 5-inch howitzer. It's going to be very deadly, very costly if he gets a lot of good hits. But the Duchy of Brunswick, man, they are getting aggressive. Look at these guys. They are they're like, I'm sick of this Emperor Napoleon and all his shenanigans. Oh, I think we've got our first death here. It is an Allied general, Frederick Wilhelm von Brunswick. Yes, so I believe that is the general for Hanover, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Brunswick is pushing pretty hard on the French, which could be a little bit of a mistake here. He doesn't want to push too far. He's got to stay with his allies. You can see the French are now falling back behind this tree line, behind the river here a little bit. And the French over here are holding a little bit defensively. Now, we do have a Cav charge coming in on the British flank here of this line. So this is a really good move here by these Lancers. But will he push up his line infantry to engage? It doesn't look like. He might just fall back into the tree line and wait for another opportunity. Oh, there he goes. He's forming square. Okay, finally forming square. Very good move by the British, but he's going to fall back his Cav into the tree line. And now the French lines are going to continue to stand their ground. I think he likes his positioning here with the artillery. So he's going to sit back and just soften up the British lines and try to make the British uncomfortable so they have to push forward and take on the French line infantry. We also have some troops in the building using this as a defensive building, which is great. And now more French lines still falling back. Wow, falling back. Now, I don't know if this is some kind of like Napoleon genius strategy as they fall back and make the opponents feel very confident, but then turn around quickly and crush them. I have no idea, but we'll see. He can't fall back too far in the center, because if he falls back too far, this flank over here will be outflanked, his left and right. I mean, the enemy could easily just push through here, through this gap, go behind these wings, and take out the right and left flank. So he's got to watch out for that. But how far will the Dutch... Okay, see? He finally decided to stop. He's like, okay, I can't leave my allies behind. I can't keep pushing. I'm going to fall back and continue to hold this hill. And just look at... Like, I feel like we just started the battle. I mean, we're pretty much... Yeah, we kind of just started. And look at all the carnage already on the battlefield here today. Just like, this is why I love this mod so much. But we got a cav charge over in the left center. The French are going after some flankers from the United Netherlands. So they're going to try to take them out pretty quickly here, and they do some damage here, but the flankers are trying to disperse, trying to get out of there. And now there's a gap in the lines, and he's gonna go ahead and push for the artillery. The British artillery, look at this bold move. No, instead he's gonna go after the line infantry. He should break them. Now he should go after this artillery, take out their artillery. That was a great move right there by the French player with his cav. And now, oh, let's see, does he have enough morale? There he goes. He breaks the British artillery, and that's one less cannon they're gonna have to worry about. But that was pretty much a suicide mission. I don't really see this French cav getting out of here alive, or not being captured. Let's see what happens here, though. I think they're gonna run to the tree line. Is this another cav unit? No, this is a British unit who just bayonet charged the artillery. Oh my god. Okay, so I need to slow this down because there's so much going on right now. So yeah, the French cav, that was a really good move. And now I don't know if he did this on purpose, but whenever a move is so good that I don't even catch it and I'm just sitting back watching the battle, you know it's a good move. So what he did here is that he charged up the cav, right? He got the enemy by surprise. He broke the flankers, and then he was able to cut through and go after the artillery. And by doing that, he kept the enemy, the Dutch player, completely distracted. And at the same time, he charged up some infantry to take out the artillery. And not only did this infantry take it out with the great bayonet charge, but they're now leaving. Most of the time, when you bayonet charge for artillery, it's a suicide mission. The unit will just barely defeat the artillery crew before breaking. Well, over here, this is a healthy... Look at, he's only lost about 20 men here. That is great tactics right there. In Napoleon, it's very much okay, so Napoleon, like, the battle style is very interesting. The battle always comes down to quick, decisive tactics. Sometimes, most times. And the way these battles play out is that they're usually pretty slow, but then out of nowhere, something crazy will happen. If you're not paying attention, it might cost you the battle. That's why I love these fights, because it's like, oh, okay, line battle going on. Oh, there's a cav charge, like, it's just so much fun. But back over here, I think we had the British trying to flank around, but the French were able to hold this flank, but they need to quickly form back into a line because the rest of the French lines, look at that, man, engaging the British. And the British are now, look at that, the smoke and the lighting. You can see them back there. They're kind of falling back. They're kiting the French a little bit here. And now the French cav going in for a charge as well. The French are doing an excellent job over here on this flank. Whoever's leading Ney is doing a good job. Now the British did what they could to try to protect that flank, but that cav was able to sneak in there, break another British line. And look at that, the British are on the run from this French position, which is really good because in the center, the French are really struggling. Now over here, what do we got? Some Jaeger who are pushing hard in the center. And I think we got some cav that were some French cav thinking about going in for a charge, but I don't think they're gonna go for it. And oh, there we go. The French are kind of holding this little pocket of fighting going on there. Over on this side, the French look like they're a little Look, getting banged up by artillery. I mean, this is really weird, like gaps in the lines. Only thing I can think of is artillery just crushing these French lines. But yeah, things are a little bit slower on this side, other than that bayonet charge we saw on the artillery, which was genius. Really smart play there. But yeah, so far it's looking like a really close, very intense battle. Just so epic, guys. I mean, this mod, this scale is just so great. So yeah, really great fire here from the French. Also, you see some artillery bombardment coming down in these British lines. The first foot guard, second foot guard. So the foot guard, obviously very good. I think they are outnumbered here, but they should be able to hold on for quite some time. So I'm just trying to get... Oh, what's this? What's this? We got an epic bayonet charge. No, wait. No, they're going to hold here and get a point. Whoa, artillery coming. I think that was friendly artillery. Oh my god, look at this. This is a violent line battle right here. The French are breaking. The French are breaking. We got the British doing a glorious bayonet charge into the French lines. And I think the French might have gotten a little too confident here. I think they're kind of stretching out their lines a little too thin, pushing themselves a little too far. And now their front lines, oh, the Duchy of Brunswick coming out of nowhere to support his ally. And that's really causing the French here to break a little bit. And oh man, that is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And look at the balance of power. It's like glitching out. I hate the balance of power in Napoleon. It's just so glitchy. Here comes a cav charge going after some Jaeger and potentially going after some artillery as well. But he's got to keep pushing. He's got to get... Don't let this line infantry open fire, which he does. Oh, and that causes the French cav to break. And now they're going to flee. And this could mean trouble because they are deep in enemy lines. I don't know if this unit will return. Look at that. The French are just getting blown off their horses by the artillery. But yeah, they're going to flee from this fight. They should return. It's a 56 men. That's a decent amount of men. They'll come back. I'm pretty sure of it. But Brunswick out of position here. The French are now going to hold their line and fire at their backs as they pull back from that glorious bayonet charge. Look at these uniforms. Look at these guys. Are there hats? What's going on here? Their hats are like somewhat invisible. So the modders might want to go back and retouch some of these hats. It's like, wow, those are really interesting hats you got there, guys. But yeah, very interesting engagement there. Where the French still pushing on this side. Look at this. The French... Okay, hold on. So that looked like disaster for the French, but actually the French were able to kind of push around this way with a couple troops. And he's causing some issues in the back lines, which I think caused the Duchy of Brunswick and the United Kingdom to kind of fall back there. And that gives some time for the the French lines to reform and re-engage this line. But it's still, the French are pretty much outnumbered here. So he's got to use his positioning to win, to fight his way out of this one. We still have a lot of reserves back here, a lot of veteran lines. And of course, we got some reserves back behind this building and some troops in this building. So the French still have a decent amount of troops, also a ton of troops over here. Okay, so this battle is now taking off. So this fight over here, it's a combined force of Dutch and British. The French are taking on a ton of forces here. So this is going to be pretty important. Whoever wins this flank might potentially win the overall battle, because say the French win this one, they're going to be able to flank around and cause havoc in the back lines for the British forces, the British alliance. Now, the French still have very healthy numbers over here, and they are pushing up some grenadiers. So this is a nice little engagement. Oh yeah, infantry about to open fire over here. You can see the flash of musket fire from this little tree line, this little sunken road, which they're kind of using as a trench, which is pretty interesting. Very nice move there. Just really buying time. I mean, the French, I think they just got to get aggressive. I think the French are really, their strength is just close range. You know. Oh, what's this? The British here. Look at this. This is a really good... Finally, the British realize, hey, I'm outflanked here. But look at all the death. Look at what they're all leaving behind. Insane. So nice move by the French, just sending one small unit of 86 men to flank around. And now the British are going to fall back from that engagement. Back over here, Things are getting a little bit, look at this is insane. This is just, the battle continues to stretch across this way. I'm seeing a lot of breaking British, but the French the French are going in for a charge. He's just going ham. He realizes that he's outgunned here, so he might try to get a chain route on the Anglo-Allied forces, but we'll see if he's able to break these guys. These are, see, I don't know. I don't think these guys are like too skilled in melee, but yeah, they're taking on the 33rd Foot. And no, it was not enough to break these guys. The Duchy of Brunswick, once again, over here to help its British allies, causing, really creating a lot of troubles for the French flank on this side. This has been a very interesting engagement. I think the French realize that they can't push anymore. I think they've got to be a bit more defensive from now on. He did a good job of really breaking a lot of forces, pushing through, softening up. But the thing about the French forces is that one player cannot push too far up. They really got to stick together, work together. Here comes some French cav, by the way. Look at this. This Lancer cav. Wow. We saw this cav break unit after unit. Now they're just going ham. They're just going on a suicide mission, breaking as many as they can. The British is this them trying to form square? I don't think so. But they are holding their ground against this Lancer cav. It's going to be close. Let's see, the Lancer cav, are they still, oh, they're still green. They're still green morale. So yeah, they're still going in, still chopping up these British forces. This is great, guys. This has been a great battle. I really enjoyed this. And look at the mini map too. Look at all the breaking going on here. And the French, you see where the elite guards of the British army have fallen back? Well, the French are pushing towards the center. This could be trouble for the Anglo-Allied forces. And now the French over on this side. Also, look at this. Look at this, wrapping around, stretching out his lines, getting behind their defensive position. That is great tactics right there. That's another thing I forgot to mention. When you're taking on a defensive player or an army that's in a defensive stance, use their lack of mobility against them. If they're going to hold on to a hill, try to quickly go around it, quickly engage and get some flanking fire on these guys. But that's what it looks like the French are doing. Still, it's really even over here, so it's going to be tough to say. The British now naturally are repositioning their lines to engage the French flankers, the flanking French. The British doing a pretty good job here. I'm just loving this. I really do need to try to get more close-ups here. It's just there's so much going on. I don't want to miss too much, but that's just the nature of the game, really. There's just so much that it's impossible to capture it all, especially in a grand mod like this, a grand battlefield like this, when there's just insane amount of fighting left and right. Yeah, but the British, let's see, where's that? Yeah, more and more Dutch starting to break here. The British is causing a lot of havoc here. Look at this. The Dutch are now surrounded. They've got to pull out of there. And honestly, they should have been pulling out a long time ago. To let the French flank around this drastically around your forces without moving back, without falling back, could be disaster for this Anglo-Allied army. Uh-oh, we got another general. Oh no, Prince of Orange, man. He's gone. So that was the Dutch general. Oh, great volley there from the British. I love those volleys. It's so good. It's so good. But the French are just really pushing back these lines. Now I think the French on this flank, he might as well turn back and engage. Oh yeah, look at this. Yeah, the French, man. Look at this. Yeah, the French just firing in the backs of the retreating men. So cold, so heartless. But the Duchy of Brunswick, they've got to fall back. What the Anglo-Allied forces need to do here is to fall back and to concentrate their forces. They need to group together. The French, not only are the French dividing the Anglo-Allied forces and the Prussians, but they're also dividing the armies on this battlefield as well. Look at how they just push a wedge through the center. And they're trying to prevent the Duchy of Brunswick to be able to fall back and to group up with his allies. So if they can continue to chip away at this force, I think the French have a very good chance of being victorious here. But this battle is still very close, guys, and it's still anyone's game. I mean, especially over here, the French have taken some heavy casualties. They've taken some heavy losses. Now, the terrain is not in their advantage. The positioning, though, seems like it's in their advantage, but still, like, look at the French flanking around. Morale is dropping. The British still have very healthy numbers over here. Look at this. A unit of 125. They're going to hold on here for a very long time. Very long time. As long as these guys hold, they've got a chance. They've got a chance. But what the Dutch need to do is they need to protect the flank of this giant line right here. Now we got some cav going through the center. He's going after the British artillery, which is undefended. So great move there by the chasseur cheval. So he was able to take out the 6-pounder foot artillery. And they're going to continue to push on and go for the next artillery. Look at that. I mean, that's hard to recover from. Oh, man. Just destroying the cannons. So, yeah, cav back in the day, more specifically light cav, would carry nails and hammers. And what they would do, because oftentimes in a battle, if cav charged into a artillery position, the artillery crew would abandon the cannons and fall back to like a square that some line infantry formed up. And then once they scare off the cav, they'll run back and go back to manning their cannons. So what cav would do back then, and this is just a really cool idea, they would carry these nails and a hammer, and they would hit the nail in the cannon, so it would make it so they can't fire from it. So even though they don't kill the artillery crew, they just destroy the cannon, and it's pretty much useless for the future of the battle. If you get what I'm saying, I don't know if I explained that too well, but yeah, I think I explained it well enough. You guys know what I'm saying. Basically, you know, the part where you light the cannon, they put a nail in that so they can't light it. Okay, we'll move on though. Let's move on to the rest of this battle where the Dutch are now in desperate situation, constantly kiting the enemy. This is really, honestly, I think this has been a great turnaround from for the French. They struggled early on. Remember that middle battle? They lost so many men there, but now they're turning this fight around. Balance of power is still really close, though. It's still anyone's game. I'm not doubting the Dutch alliance here, the Anglo-Allied forces, but they are going to have to try to turn this one around, whether just in tactics or sneaky cav charges, do something. But there we go. They're breaking the French, who went for a infantry bayonet charge after the artillery. Good move there. Protecting the artillery. That's one thing they need to do, is just keep that artillery alive. The French are causing a lot of difficulty. Look at this. So glorious. They're causing a lot of difficulties for this French or British line. But it's still pretty even. Look at that. Yeah, the flank is kind of just broke here for the French. But the British are... Oof. Yeah, they're breaking, and now we got some French lines maneuvering, some regiments here, maneuvering around. They're going to be able to crush these guys as well. It looks like they've got some defensive position. Yep, the Dutch are taking some defensive positions here as the French continue to push them back. Push them back on the, to the road. Look at that. Just a tactical retreat here. Yeah, they're trying to limber up their 6-pounder artillery, get them out of here. The French, oh my god, look at that. The French are just constantly pushing forward, constantly moving. This is really good. So let's zoom out here. The British are also falling back as well. He needs to try to get into column formation though. But the French, they've kind of formed this U shape around them. And it's pretty even numbers, but the positioning is way in favor of the French. So they're able to just sit back and fire at the backs of the enemy. Now back over here, Brunswick has repositioned. The French have repositioned. Hanover still has a ton of troops over here using these buildings defensively. So this is going to be really interesting. It just seems like... Uh-oh. General is dead. So who's this? Oh, a cav charge. Oh, no. Cav charge breaking the British lines over on this side. This was Frederick van Blijlent. So yeah, man, he is gone from the battle. They form square, able to break the French cav, and now the French are still pushing back the British lines, but this has just been a defeat over here. This is a bad defeat over here. The French have pretty solid numbers, and now they're gonna, well, it looks like the British are starting to make their stand. They're gonna put their stand down. We got the first guard foot. The first foot guard, sorry, I'm dyslexic. Okay, no, they're actually falling back. They're like, maybe there's some miscommunication there. The Dutch player doesn't look too interested. I think the Dutch player might be trying to use the roads here to get over to his allies. And this is it, guys. This is the last stand of the Anglo-Allied alliance. This is coming down to the wire, guys, and it's not looking too good for Duke of Wellington. If only this battle was this, like, decisive in history. Who knows? Napoleon could have kept his crown of Emperor of France. That's interesting, you know, because I've read sources that when Napoleon came back, he escaped the island. He just wanted peace. He wanted peace so he could just, you know, rule France in peace. But would he go back and try to conquer Europe once again? You know, would he, like, after that peace? Or would he just be like, you know what? I fought my war games. I'm just gonna hold on to what France is, you know, and just rule from that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you get it. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna move on from the you know, hypothetical questions here. But yeah, the French pushing still this way. We got a lot of units. Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 units in this building just garrisoning up. The French are probably gonna have to send a lot of grenadiers over here to try to clean out this building, or maybe just sit back like this unit and just kind of fire at the enemy. I honestly would get these guys in melee, even though they're outnumbered. It's close quarters. You can be pretty effective with these grenadiers. Maybe he's waiting to send up more troops. He's got more infantry back here, just kind of firing at the building as well. And the French are still pushing forward to take this hill. Let's see what else is going on. The British are now falling back this way. Okay, so yeah, the French have there we go. The French have divided these forces. So let's slow-mo it here real quick. The French have divided the forces. They've got really what's left over here is the Duchy of Brunswick and Hanover, and then of course we have the French surrounding what's left of the British and the Dutch over here. So it's really a battle of two parts in what's left of this fight, which I think is really interesting because it's like symbolic of like the strategy of Napoleon going into this Waterloo campaign. I don't know, but the French, I mean, this is over on this side. I would say it's very even, extremely even, because I mean over here this looks like, I mean, the French have so many numbers. They could easily, and like they're easily getting around here. They could easily cut down these defenders. So I think the French easily have this one, but it's a matter of how many troops they will lose in trying to take this building. They can't really afford to lose too many troops because this looks very, very intimidating. This little last stand. The French are trying to maneuver around, which is smart. He's got 3 regiments flanking around, probably trying to get behind him. We do have some Dutch artillery. They are limbered up, or unlimbered, and firing down on the position. And also, look at this. We got Dutch still pushing this way as well. So look, it's a race to the flank, guys. The French are pushing behind Hanover, and the Dutch are pushing as well. So the French kind of have to watch themselves, because if they put themselves between Hanover and the Dutch, it could be disaster. So really, I think whoever wins this engagement, it's going to be huge. The French are holding on. I mean, it's so even. It's so even between the French Empire and the Duchy of Brunswick. I mean, this battle is even. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, the British are putting up a stand, man. Look at this. Yeah, they're putting up a fantastic stand. These are foot guards. So do not underestimate them. Even though they are outnumbered, they're certainly not outmatched. So they're going to use their skill against the enemy, their morale, their veterancy against the enemy. But the French are pushing up more lines to try to get more guns firing down on these foot guard. Because, yeah, they're breaking, guys. They are breaking. They've got some units on the flank trying to flank around, you know, trying to outmaneuver those troops. And then I think he's got more men pushing way around the flank as well. I think once these units get into position, it could be the end of the British and the Dutch little last stand here. And it's going to come down to this one over here. So Hanover is pushing. The French have decided to fall back. See? Yep, that's smart. So yeah, he's fallen back because he realized he would be between Hanover and the Dutch. So yeah, good move there. And now the French are starting to charge in here. Hanover sending over some reinforcements. Good move there. French still opening fire in the Duchy of Brunswick. Brunswick still holding very well. Their morale is still very strong. The French are actually now falling back. Look at this. Hanover and the Duchy of Brunswick holding on. to this position. And here comes the Dutch reinforcements. Again, I mean, like, they're going to lose over here, but if they can kill enough of these French forces and hold on, they might just be able to conquer this French army, because the French are crumbling over on this flank, absolutely crumbling. And the Duchy of Brunswick, they can taste victory over here on this side, so they're actually going to advance forward and not let the French fall back, do a tactical retreat. And the French are now falling back, or I'm sorry, are now standing their ground and firing back. Uh-oh. More breaking over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. The French coming in with some veteran line infantry. They got to send in more, though. And let's see. Come on, French. Hurry up. Get these guys going. Now, you don't want to rush your troops too much. Oh, my God. Look at all the French troops here. Oh, my God. It's a battle. Okay, this is like a 2v2, basically. Like, we got a battle going on here and a battle going over here. And I feel like the victors are going to fight each other. Whoever wins this one, and then whoever wins this one. Most likely the French here, and then most likely the Anglo-Allies. But actually, we've got some morale going down over here for the Duchy of Brunswick. Now it's back to normal. But we'll see how long they can hold against this French force. Very interesting maneuvering going on between these four. Look at the positioning here of the French. He's like, oh, God, I messed up. Gotta fall back. Come on, quick, quick, quick. Fall back. About face. There we go. Light infantry opening fire. Just trying to put some suppressing fire. Oh, Brunswick, he wants more. He wants more. He's not letting them escape, so he's going to keep pushing. He's going to keep pushing back these forces. And here's Ney, I believe. Yep, General Ney. Just kind of watching over. Like, hold your ground, men. Actually, no, retreat. Do tactical retreats. This is all part of the plan. Artillery firing down at the defending forces, who are now holding this slight hill. Hanover, okay, they're kind of dividing up their forces here a little bit. The French might be able to take advantage of this, but the French are just kind of begging for reinforcements. They need these troops over here. I think this is a bit overkill. This is overkill completely. He should not be having, like, he should send some of these French troops over to this side of the battle. Like, he needs to send reinforcements now. Ney is like, where is my reinforcements? Why are there so many troops still fighting the deteriorating British foot guard? Oh, man. But the Duchy of Brunswick still, hey, I mean, you don't want to get too aggressive here as Brunswick. I mean, you don't want to chase these guys too far, and it'll be too late. So he's got to watch out for that. Honestly, I would just stop chasing. I would hold my ground right there. Just stop and just wait. Just wait. Yeah, but the British, man, they're not going out without a fight over here. It's insane. Look at these guys. Surrounded, still fighting. That's the light foot. The stormers. Very cool. So the French still just, throwing men into the fray. Still trying to take this house, which is being protected by some Highlanders. They do break the... Oh, my God. Look at this last stand. This glorious last stand in this building. Making it very difficult. Holy crap, guys. They just broke a bunch of French over here. The French are struggling. They are struggling to take out these final defenses. I mean, there's still tons of troops here. Still tons of troops. And now Ney is just trying to keep the spirits high as they take on this overwhelming force from the Duchy of Brunswick. Come on! Hold! Wait until we get reinforcements if they don't all die to melee. There we go. He's sending in more troops. Some grenadiers. Yep, that'll do the job. Look at these guys. Look how cool this is. So awesome. He's gonna... Oh! Bayonets ready! It would be cool to see them, like, a couple soldiers kind of, like, fire here and there as they push forward. Because they would do that, they would push forward and fire kind of randomly at times. Which that would be awesome to see. Anyways, here comes the charge. Look at him through the door to take on the British defense. British/Dutch defense. And here comes more French forces coming out of the tree line. Just seems like the French have a never-ending amount of forces. Let's head back over here where the Dutch are still falling back with Hanover. The Duchy of Brunswick chasing. Oh my god. Oh my god. The French are getting chewed up here. But we do have. What is this? Oh, we've got some skirmishers, it looks like. And a general behind the Duchy of Brunswick. So I wonder if these guys could do any damage here. Like if they could cause them to break a little bit. Look at this. They are full on pursuing the French here as they fall back. And now that's really buying time for Hanover and the Dutch to kind of reposition their lines. And you can see the French are already making their way over to this defensive position. They still haven't cleaned up this fight over here at this building, but I'm pretty sure it's going to end very soon. So there is about 15 minutes left in this battle. And so far, it has been a great one. Just all over the place. Aggressive players turning defensive. Really fun stuff. But yeah, the Grenadiers, like I said, did the job. And I think they're sending in even more some conscripts into the fight with some veteran line infantry. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the defense over here. And now it's gonna come down. Oh, troops, yeah, they lost the building. So now it's gonna come down to Hanover and the Dutch. And this is so cool. I mean, it's just so cool to see that one side Hanover won and on the other side the French won. So now the two victorious forces are going to engage in the final engagement of this battle. Brunswick is now falling back. They have completely pushed back the French. I mean, even though the French were able to survive that engagement, they don't really have that much. But you never, even though it's a little bit, they can still do some effective fighting. Now we got some skirmishers just firing at Brunswick as they fall back over to their allies' defensive position. So the French are just trying to get back, get some revenge on these guys who just push back their main infantry lines. So cinematic. Napoleon is such a beautiful game, and it's a pretty old game, for relatively speaking to just the age of games. They don't last long. Like a game becomes old pretty quick in terms of technology and whatnot. But yeah, I believe this came out, what, 2010? It's been about 7 years? Like, that's crazy. Okay, yeah. I think a little less than 7 years, but geez. It's insane. Like I feel like this game is more beautiful than Warhammer 2. Like, it's just the lighting, everything they did was just fantastic. Here comes a general, though, seeking revenge. Look at this. So Brunswick losing some forces here as they fall back. And Hanover sending over some aid. Sending over some line infantry to take care of these skirmishers. Very good move by his ally, trying to save his ally's army. So that was smart. But the general pretty much risking his life here, going in for that charge. And now he's going to try to fall back into the tree line. Maybe even charge Hanover, his line infantry. So a good move there. Very good move. But the French can kind of turn back, which they are. I don't know how effective this small force is going to be. But let's head back over to the juicy fighting, which is all right here. As the French advance forward, ready to engage the final stand of Hanover. And they're kind of using this road as a bit of a protective position. I guess they're kind of just waiting for more troops to get into position. So it looks like we're in a little bit of a slow spot in the battle. So let's go ahead and just fast forward a little bit and wait until we get some major engagements. So you can see that the French are pushing up just a small amount of forces at a time. They're not sending too many troops. Okay, let's actually not go that fast. It's a little too crazy. But yeah, you can see that the French are not fully engaging. Honestly, I would just send in everything I have at this point, try to overwhelm these forces. Unless he's just trying to, I guess he's just trying to outflank them here. But this is going to be risky because he does have the building here protecting him. But here we go. Are they pushing him? Here we go. Here comes the main line from the French forces. And now the French are about to get to this road here and engage the Dutch. The Dutch are already losing morale. Look at that. Pretty surprising there. Let's go back to normal speed. It looks like finally we're going to have some line battles going. Oh, yeah. The Dutch should break. pretty quickly. If they're already losing morale here, they should break against these French. Oof, popping some shots there. Conscripts, they're in the fight. Oh, do we have some cavalry here? Some artillery? Are these guys routing? No, they're not routing. What is this? Is this a unit? I don't see a flag over them, so that's interesting. But yeah, the French, if they can break through this flank, this is going to be huge. I mean, this is crazy, guys. The fact that this battle is still so close. It's been so long. The Dutch are still holding on to this building. And I think they're going to continue to hold on to it. I don't know what's really going on here. It's not really that important. Really, what's most important is this right here. Now, it looks like the French, they've got 3 ways of attacking. They've got the main center line, which is concentrating most of his forces. He's got a flanking force going over here, which are actually breaking against the Dutch, who were wavering early on. Look at this. Their morale is low, but they are causing some forces, French forces, to break, which is huge, guys. Now, of course, they've got the building over here kind of protecting them, but that sucks for the French. But yeah, he's got the center line. He's also coming around this way to take on the forces of Brunswick. So we're down to the last 9 minutes of this battle. Some forces are, there we go. The Dutch have finally started to break now. But they've done everything they could to hold on to this flank. And the French, unfortunately, are breaking as well. So it was a pretty even trade there. Pretty fair trade. Now, I think it was more of a victory for the Dutch and the Allies, because the French are not able to flank around any forces here. But actually, we have a general coming around. He's exhausted, or he's tired. He's not moving too quickly. He's about to charge into some Jaegers who form square. And nope, he's not going to take that. He's going to fall back. Good move there. Get your general out of there. Do not lose him, because that would be bad. But we got some line infantry. They're still kind of pushing around the flank, so that's good for the French. He is sending over more reinforcements to that side. Artillery, very close range, unlimbering, ready to open fire on these Jaegers down in the back lines. French still putting up a good fight over here from the Duchy of Brunswick. Brunswick has been a very vital role in today's battle. Very good to see a minor faction do pretty well. And the French are also pushing on this back flank. It's not really much, but it could be game-changing. Who knows? This small flank could decide the battle here. Oh, Hanover charging after the artillery. Oh, you see some flying Hanoverian soldiers flying across the battlefield. They do break them. The artillery able to hold their ground. Very, very important that they keep that artillery alive. The artillery crew needs to stop chasing, though. Just get back onto the artillery and continue to open fire on those troops who are defending that side. French still pushing up these line troops. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, we got a juicy battle, boys. A very juicy battle to decide the battle. If you look at the mini-map, you can see how they're surrounded here. But they've got 3 defensive structures. One here, one in the center, and one on this flank, which might really just help them out in this engagement. Might just save their skin here against the French. French are charging in the general, breaking the Dutch there. Unfortunately, the French general is breaking, but the French are able to wrap around some conscripts, and they're going to be able to put some flanking fire on these Jaegers. Now, they have not taken this building yet. He did push up some line infantry veterans just to kind of fire at this building, keep them occupied. Ooh, some Jaegers in between, though. In between the 2 buildings, kind of supporting that unit in the holding up in the building. French are trying to quickly form. They got to move fast. They've got to move fast. The French in the center, though, still very healthy. Unfortunately, the artillery is dead. We got a field battalion over here. It's like a grenadier unit. They were able to chop up the poor troops of the cannon crew. And now the troops are going to fall back over to the safety of their building. Back over here. Look at this. Duchy of Brunswick charging. A bayonet charge. They break. Let's see if the next wave can break through, though, to the infantry, the line infantry of the French. No, it looks like the French are starting to break. Oh, no, Brunswick. Nice, bold charge there in the center. And now the French are pushing through on this side as well. Let's see if they go for a bayonet charge over into the building. No, it looks like they're going to set up again. See if they get a good volley here. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, fire. Oh, Hanover is breaking, guys. mean, this is down to the bitter wire, guys. Bitter wire. The French still trying to throw in some troops into melee, fighting for this structure, trying to take it over away from Hanover. More French lines forming up this way. Come on, guys, quickly reform. Watch the retreating troops. Get out of their way. They're trying to fight a battle here. Flee. Like, if you're going to break, at least break not in front of the troops still fighting. Just get out of their way. So the French are breaking, but they had a very critical part there, keeping Brunswick occupied. Now Brunswick is way out of position, trying to reform and support his ally and trying to take on the French here. And look at this French line. Oh, yes. Beautiful French line. They're putting up some great shot. Oh, unfortunately, they are breaking there. Hanover still hanging on to dear life. This is it, guys. This right here will decide the battle. More French troops breaking. This last stand is a very costly one for the French. This is coming down to the wire, and it's all going to be decided right here at this building. They're going to throw in a lot of troops, try to overwhelm this force holding up garrison in the farmhouse. More infantry protecting the flank. They're engaging a small regiment of line veterans, a unit of 94. And then I think we've got this general still alive as well. I'm not sure what he's up to, but yeah, it looks like this flank is completely defended over here. Hanover and the Duchy of Brunswick can now focus their attention over to this side, which is just turning into a nasty brawl of bayonets. Oh my god, the French are breaking. The French are breaking. Hanover just might be able to hold on to this one. Let's see. Oh, come on. Come on. Let's see. They are outnumbered. The balance of power is still in favor of the French, but again, never trust the balance of power for Napoleon Total War. There's only 3 minutes left in this battle. Oh, more French are breaking. More French are breaking. Oh my god. And I think they did it, guys. I think they did it. Oh yeah, there's no way the French... Oh, look at that. Huge chain route going on with the French army. Just don't have it in them to take this one. We do have a couple forces returning to the battle, but I think, let's see, they took this building. Now, I don't know if they're actually taking the buildings and like playing the point game. If that's the case, then I still think it's a victory for the Anglo-Allies. I really don't know. That's the thing, like, if you send in a replay of Napoleon Total War 3, Napoleonic Total War 3, make sure to let me know the rules exactly. That way I don't have to guess on like what the victory conditions are. But yeah, it looks like the French, there's no way the French are going to recover from this. Even though the balance of power is in favor of the French, they've got the defensive positions here. And there's no way, without artillery support, they do have some artillery back here, but it's just not enough to bring down these buildings. And these guys are screwed. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward, guys, and get to the end results. All right, here we are. And look at the losses. Like, this is actually, the losses here are pretty similar to the actual losses in the battle. I thought it was going to be more, but ratio-wise of the like size of the forces, they are not anything. Like, this is just devastation for everyone. So I guess the battle ends historically, where the French are able to push back the Duke of Wellington, the Allied forces, but they do overall take the field with just sheer numbers. But the French are able to prevent them from joining up with the Prussians. So I want to give a big thank you to the person who sent this in. Now, unfortunately, they don't show the player names, but you'll see it on the screen. Thank you, man, for sending in the battle replay. It means a lot. I am always looking for NTW3 battle replays, whether it be historical or just competitive matches. But this was sent in by the Dutch player who is leading the Prince of Orange. And I think his Jaeger is getting the most kills. And then we've got his general here getting 82. So, yeah. And there's Prince of Orange only getting 3. So very interesting stuff, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little historical battle. I always love doing historical themed battles, and I plan to do a lot more in the future. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, share, and of course subscribe for more epic battles. Thanks for joining me, guys, on the battlefield, and I will see you next time, of course, on the battlefield.